Mao Zedong created the one-child policy to slow the rate of China's growing population. He believed fewer children brought forth faster prosperity. The policy prevented nearly 300 million births. Some advantages included bringing nearly 400 million people out of poverty. It also has created the most materialistic educational privileged generation in history, which is good for girls. And all the attention of parents can be given to a single child, which includes better education and more love.
Over the past 35 years, China has attempted to keep its booming population in check by instituting a one-child-per-family policy. And while more than 3/4 of Chinese citizens support the idea, China is looking to revamp the program into a two-child policy. Many have argued that population control methods create more problems than they solve, and in China's case, are set to cripple the economy. So we wanted to know, is China's one-child policy a failure? Well, the policy was originally instated after China's population exploded in the 20th century. From roughly 700 million residents in the 1960s to more than a billion in the 1980s, Chinese officials implemented the one-child policy. In 2011, the government claimed that the policy and other birth control methods have led to the prevention of 400 million births. However, critics point out that the drop in births is due to lower fertility rates, which are consistent with lower rates in countries without such policies like Thailand. The policy also creates an extremely difficult situation for parents and their children, known as the 4-2-1 problem. Chinese society stresses that children are to take care of their aging relatives. But with the one-child policy, a single person ends up responsible for both parents and all 4 grandparents, creating tremendous strain with no siblings to help. The shrunken youth...
In the 80s, there was 108.5 boys to every 100 girl, and now it's 117 boys to every 100 girl. With the population of girls decreasing, there are fewer brides for the men to marry. Because of that, the girls are most likely to be sold or kidnapped. With China's one-child policy, sex-selective abortion is also popular because the boys are more likely to go to school and carry on the name rather than the girls. China has 368 million abortions in the past 40 years.
Because having male children is preferred in Chinese society, female children are sometimes killed, aborted, or given up for adoption in an effort to try again for a boy. This phenomenon was calculated in 1990 to be responsible for at least 50 million missing women in China, as well as 100 million worldwide.
I'm Lisa Ling, and one of my favorite shows for Explorer was called China's Lost Girls.
My mom said that I was born in someone else's stomach and that my biological mom couldn't take care of me, so she put me in an orphanage so I could have a better life. I was born in China and I was brought here. If it wasn't for my mom and dad, I bet I'd still be in the orphanage.
Over 1/4 of all the babies adopted from abroad into this country come from China, and most are girls. It's a consequence of one of the biggest efforts to control population growth in history, China's so-called one-child policy. It limits millions of families there to having only one child. Traditionally, baby boys are preferred, and as a result, girls are often abandoned, aborted, or hidden.
Come across them everywhere, listless and hopeless. And to make things worse, the few women here hightail it out this economically depressed region as soon as they can.
Women leave to go far away to the cities to work. They don't come back. They marry men there and don't come back.
Chinese have a preference for boys, and that has produced a gender imbalance across the country. Here in Hainan, island-wide, there are 130 men for every 100 women, and in some places, the ratio is as bad as 170 to 100.